believe that our world is created for harmony and peace. And yet we're not there. We're far from there, it feels like right now. And that breaks my heart. I don't know about you. And it's also costly to our organizations, our communities, our nations, the world. And so how do we handle that? And I believe that sharing power leads to increased prosperity and peace. And today I'm going to share two little stories, and then one that I feel like I handled well, and one I did not handle well, and what we can learn from those, and what I've learned and how we can handle them differently. So the first story was a boss that I had saying, because you didn't close the virtual meeting room out, you're not going to get the clients that we promised you. And this was just one of many examples where it felt like she delighted in taking away things that had been promised or punishing me. And I felt like that was because my credentials were higher than hers. And sometimes people can get in bullying types of behavior when they don't want to share power with someone else, and they feel threatened by someone else's position, or they just feel like they're better than them and they want to put the other person in their place. And so after many instances of this, and her saying, we need to set up a meeting and talk about this, which I knew, she was just going to let me have it in the meeting. And I was getting tired of that. So I talked with some other people, kind of reached out for consult, and they said, well, if you go through with your plan of asking an HR representative to be on the call, then you'll probably lose your job. And I kind of weighed the consequences and decided to do that. And so when I brought this up with her, she said, oh, well, you want someone else to hear all of the things that you're doing wrong. And I said, well, I would be okay with that. I would feel more comfortable having an HR representative in our conversation. So she did not let me have it in that conversation. I did lose my position, but not after several other layoffs. The organization was downsizing. So I was in the position, and I realize now, looking back, I was able to do that because of my privilege, that I am white, I am well educated, I did have a financial reserve. So, I do have my documents, I am a citizen, so I didn't have to worry about some of the consequences that others would have to worry about in that situation. And I am going to provide a model in the written text of my blog today on how to handle situations like this. And I'm just thankful also because of my position of privilege that I am not experiencing microaggressions, daily or multiple times a day throughout my life. And this was a very rare occurrence, but it was over 10 years ago. So it was obviously has stuck in my mind, as has another experience. And this was the one that I didn't think I handled very well. So I was on a very long international flight with a cranky flight attendant. And I noticed her behavior towards two young families I thought was extra harsh, just her tone of voice and calling out for minor infractions. The children standing up to switch parents while the seatbelt light was on was one example. And this was also over 10 years ago and still fresh in my mind. what I wish I had done was to pull her aside and have a conversation with her, which I did not do, and also to follow up with the airline, reporting out what I saw. I felt like it was as a result of bias. These two families were of different ethnicities than the white flight attendant. One family was speaking Spanish, the other appeared to be Middle Eastern. What I did do is, as we were leaving the flight, to tell the families, to acknowledge them, how well I thought they'd handled their young children, to wish them well, just to speak warmly. I think the one family I was behind, I offered to help. But I did not go the extra step and step in as an ally. And I have been trained in that since then. So stay tuned for the full text blog later today. And thanks for tuning in.